Hi, everybody. It's Mark Rushton of MarkRushton.com. It is Sunday, July 11th, 2021. And yeah, it's only been a week. I was kind of under the weather earlier last weekend and early part of the week, lingering headache and just not feeling good. And then woke up Thursday, brand new man. So there you go. And was actually able to play a little bit of disc golf today, get out. It'd been raining the last few days. And it was still kind of light rain today, but it was the backside of it. I was able to get out, and that was great. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about streaming music services. I think a week ago in the previous video, I talked about how the numbers were not going down like they normally do during the summer, and I was not quite sure why, and I still don't understand why, because it was both, I checked my daily numbers from Spotify and from Pandora, and typically during the summer, they kind of head south, and on the weekends, they really head south, and on holidays, they really go down, especially if the holidays on a weekend. Did not happen with July 4th. It's very unusual. And, I've got data going back as long as I've been on streaming music services to any degree. The first few years I was on them, it was pennies. But now it's, I've released a lot of stuff and I've been, doing better at this sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's strange. So, and the numbers have continued to hold, at least with regard to Pandora. Pandora's actually gone up a bit. Spotify is kind of held, although the radio side has kind of dropped off drastically. Not quite sure why. Typically, that's algorithm or for whatever reason. And, I'll enter a new month or I'll enter a new week, and then all of a sudden the numbers are going back up. It's very strange. Don't know what's going on there. I'm assuming it's algorithm programmatically changing it for whatever reason. But that's okay. Like I said, kind of flatline on Spotify over July 4th, and that's good. That's good. Normally you get the dip for the weekend and then the huge dip for the holiday. So very interesting there. And I've been playing around with other streaming music services. As you know, I think I said in a recent video, I subscribe to 6 streaming music services now, which is a little ridiculous. I pay for 6 so that I can be on them. I can see how my music is on there and how it's presented, and if there's anything I can do on those services to promote that stuff, whether it be public playlists, whatever. That's legit, obviously legit. If there's any sort of artist services, legit promotional services that you can do there, anything to introduce that music to a wider unknown audience. And what do I say with Apple Music? I don't know what's going on with that. I have lots of public playlists out there that do well on other services, and they do nothing. They do nothing on Apple Music. It really, and then, I get into Apple Music, which is the weirdest thing anyway, because it still wants to connect to iTunes. And what is this? And I'll play a few tracks in playlists that I've made, just a couple, and then I'll go back into my Apple Music for artist data, and I'll check that and see whether it's been played in a playlist, and there's no data there. So it makes me wonder either like your reporting is not working or I don't know what else, right? So Apple Music has been very strange. It has always been strange. I don't get it. I haven't been able to crack the code on that one yet. Yeah. Deezer, my numbers have been going up on Deezer here the last, I guess, 6 or 7 months. And it had just been very, very, very little money over the years. Deezer is, largely based in France and Europe. They do have a presence in the United States. I am a subscriber of Deezer. I actually like the interface, and I like the mobile app. I have yet to figure out how to play my playlists in the order in which I wish that I set them up. They must be like a setting or something like that I'm missing. And but the Deezer app works really good. I'm really surprised, and much better than the Spotify app. And we'll get to that here in just a little bit. And so yeah, Deezer, I've been using that a little bit more. not necessarily listening to my music, but listening to the music that I like to enjoy outside of the artists that I publish under. So it's like all the other sort of things, like older music that's not me. I have been listening to on Deezer lately, and Pandora. Um, and then also there's JioSaavn, which is an India-based service, and I do not necessarily have access to that because I don't have a VPN with India-based IP, and I'm not going to do that. Not interested in that. But I'm into their, I forget what it's called, Artist One, which is like a JioSaavn for artists, and there's a few things you can do, and there's a little bit of data that you can get in there. And was able to create an account, was able to move public playlists over to JioSaavn. But the odd thing is, for some reason, JioSaavn, when you transfer playlists to them, it looks like they insert other tracks into your playlists, which is very, very, very odd. I don't know whether it's maybe if the track is not in JioSaavn, as opposed to, say, Spotify, then they just throw a random track. I'm not quite. That's what it looks like. It's very odd, and it's not similar type of music either. It's classic rock. It's Indian music. It's very strange. I've not figured that one out either. I don't think I'm going to spend too much time on it because whatever royalties I might get from JioSaavn, they're pretty small. So that leads us to Spotify and just ongoing talk about the Spotify app. And this Spotify has really disappointed me. Really disappointed me. I mean, I've been a subscriber of theirs for like 8 or 9 years. I think since at least 2013. And when I subscribed to them, I couldn't believe how good the app was. It was a pleasure to use, particularly on the mobile, but also on the desktop. And both in the last 6 months to a year have just been ruined. And yeah, I can go out there and find out who the lead designer is. This guy, and it just what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, so I bring the mobile app up on my phone. Isn't that old? It's not super. It's not a $1,200 phone, but it's not bottom of the barrel, and it takes forever for it to come up on it. Actually, the app comes up pretty fast, but then I want to bring up a playlist, and and I download my music so I can listen to offline because I pay for my data, so I'm not constantly streaming or anything like that. I just listen offline. It takes forever for those playlists to come up, and then there's other things that it does that I don't like. The suggestions, and it's more the suggestions. The problems with the suggestions on Spotify are much more prevalent on the desktop app. And I wish I could show you, but it's absolutely annoying. They're constantly pushing podcasts, and they don't pay royalties for podcasts, and so they're pushing that for some reason. Let me guess why. And then the kind of podcasts that they're pushing towards me are of a particular agenda. And first of all, I'm not going to listen to any podcasts on Spotify anyway. But second of all, agenda-driven podcasts that are constantly being pushed, and it's the usual stuff. And I have no interest in that whatsoever. And then the stuff isn't even new; it's like years old, and it's the same old, same old. I might as well just be, I don't know. I might as well be watching network television, right? That's the kind of, or cable television. It's the kind of caliber that you see on those particular services, and it's right there. It's the second thing in my desktop app, and then further down, and then the kind of music suggestions that they have been shoving in my face lately. I don't understand. There was like, what was it called? Modern Appalachia. It was like, like hillbilly music. I have no interest in that whatsoever. I do listen to some classic country, but why how would I have any interest in that? and then some of the major playlists that they push my way. I'm never going to listen to that sort of stuff. And so why are you being why is the industry why are you being pushed why are you pushing this, right? Shouldn't I can understand maybe a little bit way down, hey, you might want to try, or what, but it's just like right up there. It smacks of Apple. It smacks of iTunes back in the aughts, when it was very clear that iTunes and Apple were, being paid to promote, the music that you're supposed to like, and that's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It's like you have a lot of people have a negative attitude about algorithms choosing music and all that sort of stuff. But I've had a pretty good luck with Spotify in the last several years here with the release radar, things like that. And the way that the app used to behave. They used to come out with some really, really interesting suggestions. And there used to be a thing up in the corner called Discover, and you would click on that, and I would spend just like hours going into the deep dive. Oh, I've never heard that album. Oh, who's this artist, right? And listen to it. Oh, that's kind of good. And that was one of the ways that it got me back into 60s and 70s reggae. It was getting into that's falling down that rabbit hole. Or maybe I read about a particular artist here or musician, or this album that came out decades ago. Maybe you should check it out. And I would fire it up in the Spotify app and then listen to it a bit. And then underneath there would be hey, you like this? Try one of these. And that was cool. That's the thing that I loved about Spotify. And now it's just, well, the first thing that you always get is, what have you listened to recently? It's like that's a very small infinite loop. And then the second thing is the agenda-driven podcasts, which I have no interest in. And then after that, it's sort of like, here's some playlists we made for you from stuff you've listened to in the past. It's just all nostalgia based, and that's not who I am. I'm always, I do listen to older stuff. I do want to find things that I haven't listened to, but I'm always on the lookout for the thing that I've missed or something that I'm not aware of. I don't read music review sites ever anymore because they suck. And so I rely on, I hate to say it, I kind of rely on the algorithmic suggestion, which is, again, machine learning. And, other people have heard this music. Maybe they like it. Maybe here I am over here. But so much of the rest of the application with regard to suggestions, everything is in its little narrow silo. And that's not how I grew up with music. Even FM radio in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Yeah, there was a little bit of that, but you go back and saw what playlists were or what the top 40 was back in the 80s and 90s, even in the early 90s. There was a lot of musical diversity there. You still had instrumentals in the top 40, even into the 80s. And I think possibly the early 90s too, if I'm not mistaken. It was definitely in the 80s, that sort of thing. Now it's, you never hear of that. But I know I'm rambling here. But yeah, Spotify's really let me down. I don't like it. And yeah, there's nobody can complain to. So, and I have to keep the subscription going, just because of the nature of what I've been building on there and everything. And that kind of sucks, but maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll realize that annoying music fans, by pushing completely unrelated podcasts, maybe they'll get the feedback on that. Maybe. Why have they hired so many terrible people to work at that company? It's like they hired a bunch of ex-Apple people or something like that, or just the worst sort of, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, you had a really good thing going there, man, Daniel Eck. What are you doing? What do you do to bring the love back, man? Bring what made Spotify great back. I mean, yeah, I would listen to some podcasts, but not when you're shoving the wrong stuff in my face. Just move it back to podcasts there up in the upper corner and let me click on that instead of trying to force feed me. How do you think I am anyway? I don't like that. That big turnoff. You know, if I was not reliant upon the subscription for certain things, I might be canceling it and going over to Deezer. Instead, I'm just going to listen to Deezer in the near future, just because the app works, right? I know I've gone on. It's only been a week, but yeah, streaming music service discussion. Have a little one-way conversation here with the camera. I don't know if anybody agrees with me or not, but and frankly, I don't care. But that's just sort of my perception of that. It's just like, God, what a bummer. That's a cool app. It's just being ruined by, somebody who's just going to list their little pseudo-positive brownie points on LinkedIn and move on to another company to ruin, right? Isn't that how it works? That's right. Anyway, this is Mark Rushton at markrushton.com. It is Sunday, July 11th, 2021, and we'll talk to you later.